Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you so much for watching today and welcome to you all. The first thing I must say is that next door are having some building work done today. So if there is any noise in the background, I do apologise, but I had to get this voiceover done. So today I am working in a book that I haven't used for a while. This is the Khadi FatBook. It's a really thick and fairly inexpensive sketchbook that has cotton rag paper in. It is it's quite thin paper, but it's a really fun book for when you want no pressure. So it's a really good no pressure sketchbook or art journal, and that's how I sort of was feeling with this project today. So as is often the case, I didn't have 100% an idea of what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to start with some watercolours. So I've blocked off a border around my edges of my page using the Scotch painter's tape. This is one I just buy in the DIY shop, but all sorts of tape is, the sort of thing you could use. And I decided to use some different mediums today. Not different as in the ones I never use, but ones I haven't used in a little while. So I'm using my Daniel Smith watercolours, and I went in with the Quinacridone Rose, the Aussie Red Gold, and I think it's Bismuth Yellow. There's another word in between, but Bismuth Vandate Yellow, I think it is. And I just went in with some circles because that's always the way to go for me. And I started by putting the water down so that it really flowed. Then I left it to dry totally naturally. I know that's a shocker for me. I do love a heat tool, but today I decided that I wasn't going to use it for that bit. So I then thought, let's carry on the circle theme. When I don't know what to do, I always revert back to circles. And that is something I would say, that if you're ever struggling, just go with what you love, go with what you know, because I think as long as you're doing something, then that's the most important thing. If you want to do something, that is. If you don't want to do something, don't do anything. But if you want to get some creating done and you're not sure, go with what you know, go with what you love, go with what you know has worked for you in the past. There is nothing wrong with that. And I've just used that stencil. That one is one by France Papillion. I have linked it multiple times to the store where I think you can still get it in the UK. It's one that is well out of print, so to speak. I don't think it's been made for years, but obviously some stores, online stores, may still have it. What I would suggest is, if you are interested, just search the name up, because I can only ever find it in one place in the UK, but it might be available elsewhere. So as always, I will list the product names down in the description box below, but I do say please do search up for your own area, because things go out of stock, things go out of production, companies close down, different tariffs and different rules come into place between different countries. So it's a lot easier for me to just list what I use and then you search for it yourself, or use what you have. I'm sure that you could just use any circles to do this. So I was using the Luminance pencils, and I will list the colours in the description box below. And then I went in with the extra chunky Posca pen just to add some marks. Then I thought, what do I want to do next? I didn't really know. I was just winging it at this point. And I thought, let's just grab some of these Kingart Gel Sticks just to add some bits of colour. As you will see by the end, that sort of becomes a bit bit like integrated into the rest of the page, but it was fun to use them. Then I wanted to enhance those circles a little bit more, and this is where things start to go a little bit wrong with the gel sticks, because I'd forgotten that they're water reactive. So I'm using the Ecoline marker pens. These are the brush markers. I'm putting it onto a block just so that I can mix a lot of water in and make it more of a wash rather than a more concentrated colour. You can use them direct to paper and water them out, or you can use them direct to paper and not water them out, but I do like them for this sometimes. And I was keeping with those three sort of base colours of the pink, the orange and the yellow, just so that everything in that background worked together. And here you will see I had totally forgotten that as I went over that orange gel stick, it would start to dissolve. I can really hear some sawing going on. I don't know if you can, so I apologise again. I sort of blotted a little bit of colour off of there just to see if that would help, but I wasn't too worried. It's a background at the end of the day. And then I decided that this was the point at which I wanted to remove my painter's tape, and I had a really thick chunky border. I don't always do a thick chunky border, but today I just felt like it. So here I am. I did use my Copic Acrea in gold earlier on, just to add some lines, and now I'm adding in a black sort of wobbly line around the edges just to give it a bit more of a frame. And once I'd added the wobbly line, I accidentally, or I can't remember if I accidentally or I purposefully drew an extra little bit of a line in at one point, and I decided, I'd made a little mistake. So then I thought, oh, that looks quite cool. It looks like little threads. It looks like I've sewn it. And so I leaned into that and added some extra threads. I then decided to try and do some circles on here. The background I don't think was totally dry, so it didn't work particularly well. Now, I went through the Unruly Ones book, and I have to say, I turned to the page with this little character on and I burst out laughing. And that's why I called this video Creating with Fun and Laughter, because it really was a lot of fun. And just the minute I saw that character, I just laughed, and she had to be on there. And as it happened, her clothing really matched the background. So I'm just getting a little bit of washi tape just to add on as a little bit of grounding for her, because I didn't feel like I wanted to do any shading on this page today. So it's just like a film strip washi tapes, but it's not white, it goes transparent in the middle, so you still see that background through it, but you get them nice black lines. And I'm using my Liquitex Professional Matte Medium. The great thing about this is if you stick it down like I do here, and then realise that actually I want it a little bit further along, you can still lift it up and move it. You know, you've got time to do that. So I also went in with a Dylusions. I think this is Bigger Back Chat Set 2. And I just picked a sentiment that I felt really went with that character. And the background was a bit like I had just added things on. I hadn't really been thinking of it. So I thought, thinking of what I was doing. So I thought this sentiment was really pertinent to this page. So I'm still kind of a mess. I have to get the page from beside me. I'm still kind of a mess, but I think we all are. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. I think, there's nothing wrong with it. We're all just muddling through in this, in these times. Times in general, all times. And I'm just adding on a layer of the matte medium just to make sure everything's sealed. And at that point I realised as well, I was probably also adding to the mixing in of the gel stick. So by this point, there really wasn't much of that gel stick showing as actual proper marks, but I didn't mind. So I gave it a bit of a dry with my heat tool. And then I decided I did want a little bit more paint pen, and I went back over those circles because now that was all properly dried, I could add that black paint pen in and it wasn't too bad. And then just a little bit of white just to add some highlights and to frame my words. And I love her so much. She makes me laugh every time I look at her. So I hope that you found this page a bit of fun and it gave you a little bit of a laugh seeing her face, because she does to me. And if you did enjoy this video, do please give it a thumbs up to show you liked it. And if you would like to subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you see that hype button, do please give it a hype as well. And comments always also help with the YouTube algorithms. At the end of the video, you will also see a list of my lovely super supporters, a massive long list. I'm running out of space on my little end card thing to be able to put them on. But an extra thank you to those supporters who give me that little bit of an extra boost as well. And so until the next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Happy crafting and bye-bye.